You can bear with me for one more time, and I hope the projector works this time. Janice asked me to say a little bit about my winter cruise to Norway. And so that's what this is, the pictures, and a little bit of explanation. My trip to the coast of Norway was prompted by an ad in the British paper, The Telegraph, in their travel section. There was an offer to travel with a group on the Kirkenes shipping line and meet Sir Robert Knox Johnston, the first person to circumnavigate the globe alone. This year has been the 50th anniversary of him doing this, so there has been a number of celebrations in England. Even though he dined with us at our table, I didn't get a picture of him. The only picture I have, I got from the internet, but I did get his autograph. And we were also supposed to see the Northern Lights. That was part of the trip as well. It was quite a cloudy 10 days, so there were not many sightings of the Northern Lights. Two of my British friends and I joined the group for the coastal voyage from January 10th to the 21st, 2019. I was in luck because I already had all the cold weather gear I needed. I had saved it from my time as a volunteer with the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. So it was not quite as expensive for me to travel there as it was for my two friends. We would be traveling on the Fjord, one of the larger ships in the fleet, and stopping at 34 ports.
This is not a range.
We were assigned our cabins when we checked in. Disappointed that we were on the lowest deck with only portholes, but in the end, it proved to be a blessing during some rough times at sea. These ships are not typical cruise ships transporting goods up and down the coast. There is only one dining room, a bar, a small auditorium for speakers, and a nice enclosed observation deck to watch the world go by. There was a hot tub on the outside on one of the decks, but I'm sure it was only used in the summer months. Because we were, all 10 days, the sun was below the horizon. By the time we got back to Bergen, the sun, there was some celebration because they celebrate every year when the sun comes up. We had 3 options for leaving the ship when we were docked, long enough to go to shore. The first was to go with the expedition team that offered outings to all the passengers on board. As with most ships, they advertised that they were going to do this or that, and then you could go with them. Second, we could choose to go with our tour leader who planned excursions just for our group that had booked the tour from London. Or we could go alone. We did do all 3 of them in the 11 days we were at sea. The expedition team for the ship held nightly sessions explaining what would be happening each day, and then sometimes they would show pictures from a previous day's activity. Our leader posted a proposed schedule for each day on the notice board. So you had those to pick and choose from, and then when we were in some of the cities, you could just go on your own. Meals were served 3 times a day with breakfast and lunch buffets, and a dinner was a served meal. And even one evening we had reindeer meat, so that was different. It was. I think one other person here, at least one person I know, has been on the Hurtigruten line. That's Bob has been, so he might be able to answer some questions too. My slides are not in order of each day at sea, but just a collection of the scenery and some of the things we did on the ship and what we saw in the towns, and of course some hikes and walks. There is a ceremony out on the open deck when you go north into the Arctic Circle, and another one when you return south, crossing it. One is ice chips put down your back by the captain of the ship. And one is taking a spoonful of cod liver oil, and they give you the spoon. Some pictures may be slightly out of focus, bluish in tint, and some dark. It takes a better camera or better knowledge on my part to take good pictures when the sun doesn't shine, there's snow all around, or your fingers are freezing. I'll just run the slides, and then if you have any questions, I'll answer those after the slides. That's how many ports we went to.
In 11 days.
That's looking out the observation deck. As you can see, they have snowshoes. One time was a snowshoe excursion. Don't ask me to pronounce any of these names. The expedition team had coffee for us. They carried it up when we hiked up. This is one of the trips to this town that we took on our own. Just the three of us walked through these streets. It was last January.
Not much snow.
Well, there will be. Because these aren't in order, remember, these are just...
Yeah.
That was at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we were not able to go in the cathedral because it wasn't open yet, so... This was interesting. The reason I said this, notice there's no snow on the sidewalks because they're heated. This is all the way, Kirkenes is the very last port you're in. Made out of ice. You can actually stay there. Or go stay in one that has a bathroom and a...
Yeah.
nice cafe, museum in the North Hall. We saw a number of churches. That was one thing you could go visit in each town. Yes, they look. I'm not really sure what the denomination was in some of them. One of the things they do in winter is lots of lights in the windows during the daytime to make it lighter and brighter. There's snow, because somebody was worried we might not have snow.
How many people on the ship?
They have anywhere from 300 to 400, I think. I was the only one of the three of us that did the ice chips down the back.
So it wasn't a surprise, huh?
See, there's snow on the deck all the time. And once you get where there's snow, they don't come out and shovel it off.
Shovel it off.
And see, some of the things you had to do at night, depending on when the ship got into port.
They loaded and unloaded cargo all of these times.
Yeah, all the time. I never did see a snowplow though. I don't know how the streets got. Sometimes they never stopped long enough to get off. This was interesting. We came in the middle of or during nighttime to one of the fjords. You can see the open sea in this picture. That's my best attempt at northern life. Chris, my friend, she's the only one that went on the snowshoe excursion. These are not very clear, but I included them because of one of the sayings at the bottom, but I'll read it later. One night we went to at midnight, anybody that wanted to go could go to a concert. And this is what it looked like when we sailed back into Bergen. Okay, so you flip we'll just turn the lights on and yep.
Thank you.
So, does anyone have any questions?
I want some full-blooded Norwegian.
What?
Full-blooded Norwegian.
All right, okay.
And she takes that cover as well.
And she does what? Oh, the cod liver oil? Yeah, okay. Well, actually, it didn't taste too bad. We all did that. We all decided that that's what we would do, but they do this ceremonial thing when you cross the Arctic, going north and then coming south. So it was the type of ship that somebody asked how many passengers. It also carried as many as 35 cars as well. And people would sometimes get on the ship, come in and have dinner, and then another port up there, they'd get off. So it was, it was just very much like a ferry.
What was the size compared to the Titanic? Did you have any idea?
I don't have any idea. I have no idea.
What was the other century?
Actually, it was pretty warm. It was probably, I would say maybe in the 20s. It was not as cold as it could have been. And everybody was commenting on that, but that's what kept it. It was cloudy all the time, and that's what, we only had about 3 rough times at sea. A couple times things slid off the counter. But we were lucky being at the bottom, and we were also in the middle. So we did not feel it as much as the people up on top. Yeah. So I'm not a sailor, but I was told that afterwards that we were.
It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
He did it just the southbound trip, and he had an interior cabin. He was there in July, and he said it turned out to be good to be in the interior because it just didn't get dark. It's hard to get sleep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the porthole covers are real tight, so it would, yeah. And when you're watching that porthole cover and the water swirling around, it's quite interesting. So yeah, but it's a good way to travel. It's not. It maybe might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it was enjoyable, and I'm really glad that I did it. A lot of people go just one way and come back through the center. How did you get back?
I didn't go, but my sweetie did, and he moved to, they were supposed to fly into Kirkenes and catch the ship there, and it was foggy. So they actually ended up taking my bus to a different port, so he missed the first
Part of the trip.
But they got to see some pretty countryside, people on ships saw nothing but fog.
Yeah.
So it
No.
worked out okay for them.
They arrange it so as you go up, you have different activities that are available to you, and when you come down, it's different. They spend different amount of time. That's why I didn't bother to try to put everything in order, because they go into those ports going up and come into them coming down, but at different times and at different days. So, and the other thing is, many of my pictures, if anyone wants to look at the book too that I did, you don't see a lot of people on the streets, because the longest time we had in a couple of cities, stores are all closed on Sundays. That's why you didn't see, that's why the bicycles were there with snow on them, not many people around. And obviously too, when we went to the cathedral, we started off the ship at 7 o'clock in the morning. So walking up to the cathedral from the harbor. But yeah, so sometimes we'd have the whole cities to ourselves, just walking and window shopping. And,
Can you go to the North Pole from that?
no, I don't think, no. You can't get to the North Pole. You can take some trips around and go all the way. I wouldn't know how you would venture that far in.
When they let us up on the captain, where they run the ship, stand up, that ship is run automatically, so they have the course already set ahead of time. So all of us, there was a gal sitting in front, sort of guiding the ship, and all she did was just monitor the screen, but the ship for itself.
Pretty much knows where it's going.
Where it's going by GPS.
They on the ship, the front door, I guess, I don't know what you call it on a ship, is where the passengers went in and out, And the back one is where the cars and the freight all went in and out. And so, and the one picture I included, yeah, when we'd go into a port, you could watch them do all the, move things in and out and what they were doing. And then they gave us each one of these books. They're planning on trying to get passage into Alaska on this shipping line. But they have a number of ships in their fleet that they use. And I guess they're all slightly different. They're not all the same, not the same size or anything, so I can pass that around.
They go to Antarctica too.
What?
Antarctica, I
Yes, they're going to try to they go to Antarctica too. They're the type of ships that can go in that kind of water and narrow places and rough seas and, yeah, so.
You started these from the U.S., you doing that?
Well, no. You have to fly all the way to Norway. You have to fly all the way to Bergen, or, like you said, to Kirkenes. Some people do one way and then go by train inland too. There's a way to do that there as well. So it's very interesting. I would like to now do it in the summertime to see and be able to go up the fjords and do what you can't do in the winter. And because the expedition teams take you on walks and hikes and things like that, it would be interesting to do it in the summer. Who did you go with, Bob, when you went? Was it a
went
group?
with Rhodes Scholar Elder Hostel.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rhodes
They had
Scholar.
both
Yeah. Different groups from America do that too, but I happened to pick up with a tour out of London. Any other questions?
Did you see any whales?
Pardon?
Whales?
No, they're not. I don't think there are any up there that time of year. As you could see, when we hiked up to the one spot, seeing anything was difficult, regardless of what it was, because it was cloudy and foggy a lot of the time. Some of the things that they would announce over the ship, by the time you got out there to see them, they were either behind the cloud or, we'd passed it already. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. It was a fun trip.